Hello everybody, first video of 2026. I wish you all a happy new year. I hope you all had amazing holidays. But now it's time to get back on track. There's a very specific type of player that's angry about our creators right now. And if you're one of them, this video might piss you off. There's been a lot of noise lately around our creators, especially around the idea of aggression-based matchmaking. And the reaction has been predictable. Some people are angry, some people are calling it hand-holding, some people are saying it's killing PvP. And honestly, I think those reactions say way more about the players than they do about a game. Because for the first time in a long time, a shooter is doing something that feels almost radical in 2026, 2025 anyway. It's not forcing everyone into the same experience. It's watching how you behave and responding to it, and that is, in my opinion, exactly how games should work. See, aggression-based matchmaking isn't about skill, about KD, it's not about who has better aim or faster reflexes. It's about intent. It looks at how you play, how you approach encounters, whether you seek conflict or avoid it, whether you escalate situations or de-escalate them. And then the game quietly says, alright, if this is how you want to behave, this is the kind of world you're going to live in. That's not punishment, that's consequence. And consequences are something modern multiplayer games are terrified of. Because for years now, shooters have been designed around one assumption. That everybody wants constant PvP, constant pressure, constant intensity. But that's just not true. Sometimes I don't want to sweat. Sometimes I don't want to fight other players at all. Sometimes I want to log in, fight arcs, explore, gather loot, upgrade my base, maybe team up with some random players to take down something bigger than all of us, and log off feeling relaxed. And if you want to tell me this is not the game for you, I will politely ignore you and move on with my life. Not stressed, not annoyed, not like I survive a apocalyptic war zone. And if that makes me casual in someone's eyes, I honestly don't give a shit. Because the reality is I am casual. And another reality is that most players aren't PvP addicts. They're not desperate for every encounter to turn into a fight to death. They're just people who like games and want to play games. Maybe sometimes they're tired and just want to enjoy their session. What aggression-based matchmaking does is simple. It separates playstyles without removing them. If you play aggressively, if you shoot on sight, chase fights, third party constantly, hunt players instead of objectives, the game notices, and it starts placing you with others who do the same thing. You want chaos, you'll get chaos. But if you play cautiously, you avoid unnecessary fights, focus on PvE, cooperate, mind your own fucking business, the game notices that too. And suddenly your session will feel calmer, more readable, more human. You will encounter more amazing human beings in the game. At least this was my experience. And this is the part that really matters to me. You're not being punished for being chill. You're being rewarded. At the same time, aggressive players aren't really punished either. They're just being matched with people who actually want what they want. And that's where a lot of anger comes from, because let's be honest for a second. Some players don't want a fair PvP. They don't want challenging fights, they want easy targets. They want to interrupt someone doing a quest, they want to jump on someone who's undergeared. They want to feel dominant, not tested. And when the game quietly removes those easy victims from their ecosystem, suddenly it's a bad design. Well, boo-hoo. But if aggression-based matchmaking has really ruined PvP, why are the most aggressive players the one complaining the loudest? Maybe because now they're fighting people like themselves. Now, I've always believed that games like this, especially survival and extraction games, reveal something about the person playing them. Take games like DayZ, for example, and this one, let's say. In those games, you always have a choice. You can kill on sight, or you can talk. You can help, you can betray, you can cooperate, you can be a bandit or be a survivor. The game doesn't force you either way. and over time your behavior becomes your identity. I've always found that fascinating, how games strip away consequences from real life but still expose the kind of decision you'd make when no one's watching. But that's a deeper conversation for another video. What matters here is that Arc Raiders is doing something similar, just in a modern, system-driven way. It's saying you're free to play however you want, but the world will adapt to you. And that's powerful, because one of the biggest problems in modern shooters is forced friction. You're punished for curiosity, you're punished for exploration, you're punished for slowing down. Every system pushes you towards confrontation whether you want it or not, and after a while that gets exhausting. Aggression-based matchmaking reduces that friction without deleting tension. You're still at risk, you're not completely safe, but you're not constantly swarmed by what I like to call PvP mosquitoes. Players that don't care about any objective or progression, only about buzzing around and ruining someone else's session. And yes, I know how that sounds, but if you've played extraction shooter long enough, you know exactly what I mean. Let me give you an example. So I was playing Arc Raiders yesterday, and I saw this player being chased by 3 wasps, and I say, okay, let me help this guy. What happened is that I helped him, and after I helped him, he started shooting me, and of course I downed him. And yeah, it goes to show, what kind of person are you? What makes this even more impulsive is that developers actually listened, and that's rare. Not we listen, marketing speak, not reactionary panic changes after Twitter gets loud for 48 hours. Actual listening. They saw a big portion of the player base wanted room to breathe. They saw that constant force PvP was pushing people away, and instead of doubling down, they tried something different. And the funniest part, they didn't remove PvP, they didn't nerf aggressive players, they didn't dumb the game down. They just let behavior shape experience. That's it. And somehow, that's controversial. Every time a game respects players' choice, there's this knee-jerk reaction that is casualizing the genre. But this isn't casualization, this is agency. If you want non-stop action, it's there. If you want high-risk lobbies full of hunters, you can absolutely leave there. But if you don't, you're not forced into it. And that matters more than people realize. Because players are getting older, time is more limited, patience is thinner. We don't need every session to feel like a tournament. We don't need every encounter to be a fight. Sometimes we just want a game to meet us where we are, and Arc Raiders does that better than most shooters I've played in years. Is the system perfect? No. Will it need tuning? Of course. But the philosophy behind it is solid. Reward good behavior, contain toxic behavior, let players self-sort. That's smarter than pretending everyone wants the same thing. And if that kind of design makes some people uncomfortable, maybe that discomfort is the point. Because when a game stops forcing you to be something you're not, you're left with a simple question. How do I actually want to play? And for the first time in a long time, a game is letting players answer that honestly. Critical out.